In this video, I'm going to show you my studio journey from this old home studio to this temporary home studio and to the brand new Captive Portal studio. Hey guys, this is Zach of Captive Portal, and right now we're in my temporary home studio. I've been working in this room for a good chunk of this year, and right now we are about to pack up and move to the new home studio space. So this is the old home studio. My wife and I had this house for a few years. It took us about 2 years to build this studio, and then I was working in it for just about a year and a few months, and then we decided we wanted to move to another house. While working in the studio is very short-lived, I am happy with how the studio came out. There was a handful of things that I wish I did better, and also with the construction process, but I did learn a lot, and with the mistakes that I've learned, I'm applying what I've learned to the new home studio space. Alright, let's pack up all this stuff and let's move to the new studio. Alright, so this is going to be the brand new studio space. This room is huge. I am excited for this. So what I have planned right now is I'm going to have my studio desk along this wall here, and on both of these walls I'm going to have a various layout of instruments, and over on this side of the room I'm going to make this like a lounge area over here with some furniture, and then probably have my music collection over here, maybe a drum set over here. Then in this closet I'm going to have various mics, instruments, gear, what have you, and yeah. That's what I have planned right now, so let's turn this into a studio. Alright, time to load up some boxes. Alright, so it's officially day one of working on the studio. The task today is to rip up this entire carpet. This carpet is going to be repurposed somewhere else, so I'm going to do my best to not mess it up. So we'll see how I do. Let's do this. Alright, that was actually easier than expected, even though that was really heavy. So we're actually going to attempt to take it out through that window in one piece because it's a straight shot to where the truck is going to be. Let's see how that goes. Alright, so the next thing to do here is to take all of these pieces out, so I'm just going to get started with that. Alright, so the next thing that I have to do is take all this foam padding out. Let's do this. Alright, all the padding is out. Let's go get the floor. Alright, today's the day we're going to install this floor. I'm excited for this. Let's get it done! All right, so the floor is all laid out. This came out amazing. Thank you so much to my wife Elizabeth for helping with the layout of this floor, because this would have not looked half as good if I did this by myself. So the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start bringing all my stuff into the studio, just kind of get like a basic layout and whatnot. We're actually gonna be moving into this house here pretty shortly, and I have all my stuff scattered all over the house, so I kind of need to get everything organized again and just bringing it all in here and get the rest of the house all organized and stuff, so when we move in, everything will be more nice and neat. What I'm gonna do after that is I'm gonna start putting up all the acoustic treatment, and we're just gonna go from there. So let's see how this goes. Alright, so we officially moved into the house, got everything in the studio here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to install all the trim around the room, and then going to get a basic layout for the space. And then I'm going to start working on the acoustic treatment. Alright, let's do this. Alright, time to unpack all these CDs and tapes. This is going to be fun.
Stupid little ghost.
Alright, I'm just about to head out here, and I'm gonna go get the supplies for the acoustic panels. I got my acoustic treatment supplies from a company called ATS Acoustics. I used some of their products at the previous studio, and I was happy with the quality of what I got from them. So I decided to use them again for the new studio. I highly recommend ATS Acoustics, whether you're getting pre-made panels or various supplies to build your own panels. They are not sponsoring this video.
Awesome, thank you.
Alright, so I got my acoustic treatment supplies, I got my fabric and my insulation back there. Now I'm going to go home and build them. So there's wood trim throughout the studio walls, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the custom sized panels inside those trim pieces, because I liked how it looked already and I just want to enhance what's already there. Alright, let's see how these panels turn out. I still had a good amount of 2x4s left over from the old studio. I saved them with the possibility of rebuilding custom panels for the new studio. I built these panels in 2 separate sets. I wanted to make sure I had enough 2x4s for the main panels first before building the smaller ones. I bought insulation and breathable fabric for these panels. I installed the fabric on each side of these panels. Since these panels are not directly on the wall, I wanted to cover the backside with fabric as well. More on that later. I used NOF E-Coast insulation boards for my panels. These boards are a more eco-friendly alternative to the Owens Corning insulation boards, which are also common in studios. Also, while the insulation is still being slightly exposed because of the breathable fabric, the quality of the indoor air will be safer. A couple of these smaller panels in the set are more for aesthetic purposes. The gap between the wood trim and the corner bass traps would be too noticeable, so I decided to fill in that space. Enjoy this time lapse. Alright, so all the custom sized panels have been made. I'm really happy with how they came out. They look amazing. I can't wait to hang them on the wall. I have a friend coming to help install them with me this weekend, so we'll be seeing that soon. But right now, I'm gonna go get the corner bass traps and the ceiling clouds. Let's go. Let's head on home. I also bought these pre-made panels and quarter bass traps from ATS Acoustics. I decided to get these pre-made because these didn't need to be custom sizes. This is my good friend and brother-in-law, Malik Temple. He's also a musician and music producer. You should check out his music as well. We're adding these brackets to these panels, so when they are hung on the wall, there will be an air gap. The reason why I did this is for additional absorption. Some of these frequencies that are bounced off the wall have a chance to be absorbed through the panels in the other direction. The air gaps are the same depth as the panels. I was recommended to not go deeper than the size of my panels because that would defeat the purpose. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to be working on is building the diffuser for the studio. Right now I'm on my way to get some scrap wood, and hopefully that'll be what I need for the diffuser. I've never built one before, so we'll see what happens. So I just got all of this scrap wood here for the diffuser. I honestly was not expecting it to be this much, but I definitely think I got plenty. The first thing I did was to cut all the scrap wood into approximate 1x1s. I wasn't sure how much I would need for the diffuser and which pieces of wood would be usable, so I cut them all to size just in case. As expected, I had way more than what I needed, I decided to keep all the wood I didn't use for any potential future projects and maybe some DIY diffusers for any studios in the area if anyone's interested. Before I started cutting all the pieces of wood for the diffuser, I put a stop block on my saw, so each piece will be the same length and I won't have to individually measure each piece before cutting. You'll see why in a minute. This one is just a touch too long. I'm cutting 4 different lengths of wood for this diffuser. This one looks good for this length. Now it's time to cut and sand over 1,700 pieces of wood. This took many days to do, but it was well worth it. Enjoy this time lapse. Now it's time to build this diffuser. I'm gluing all these pieces on a 4x8 piece of plywood, but the final diffuser is going to be 7 feet long instead of 8. I'm using this map as a guide for laying out all the pieces. This type of diffuser that I'm making is called a skyline diffuser. This was also really time consuming, but this is where it finally started to pay off. Enjoy this time lapse of me building this diffuser in a few days. Alright, so this diffuser is all built. Man, that took a very long time. I think I've been working on it the last few days, so I think in total it was around like 18 to 20 hours. That was well worth the time spent. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let this glue dry overnight, and then tomorrow I'm gonna cut this piece here, and then I'm gonna stain this whole thing. Then I have some pieces of wood over there that I'm gonna build a frame around that and paint that as well. So I'm gonna rest, and I'm gonna come back to this tomorrow. But first, I'm gonna cut out this extra piece of wood, then go to bed. Alright, it's the morning, I got a good night's rest, now let's stain this diffuser. I started to use a paintbrush for staining the diffuser, and realized right away that this was going to take forever. I then remembered that we recently got an airbrush. This was so much easier to use and was way faster to apply the stain. Alright, so the diffuser is all done. Now I'm gonna go build the frame. Now I'm installing the frame to the diffuser. You can see that the outside wasn't painted yet. I did this on purpose. I wanted to get all the nail holes filled in before painting. Alright, now I'm going to add the diffuser on this wall, so I'm going to frame this out a little bit and then put it on. Let's do this. Shout out to my awesome neighbor for helping me install this diffuser because it was extremely heavy. Now it's time to build the ceiling cloud. I wanted to do this cloud differently than the old studio. As you can see here, it was a single custom made panel with no frame. I made the mistake of having lights installed before figuring out where this cloud was going to go. I didn't want to make that mistake again. This time I decided to use 2 pre-made panels and build a frame around them. I also decided to have lights installed in the frame of the cloud. That way we didn't have to worry about ceiling lights in that section of the room. My dad was here that day because we were prepping for electrical work for the studio, which you will see near the end of the video. Alright, so the studio is almost done. It's coming together really nicely. I'm really happy with how this is turning out right now. We just got this diffuser hung up here. We are almost here. The finish line is finally around the corner. So the last things that we have to do is to install the ceiling cloud and then do some electrical work. I want to add some lights up here because all I have for a light source right now is this fan. So my dad's going to be coming over and helping me with the electrical work. We have a date scheduled right now, and that's in about a week or so. So until then, I'm just going to be doing some cleaning up and tidying everything together, getting some other things unpacked, getting my computer back on and installed. So yeah, let's get all this cleaned up and organized. Alright, so the cloud is all built, so what I'm going to do now is install all the lights and the electrical boxes. So once we hang it up, everything's all good to go. I'm going to install these LED canvas lights in here, and that's what I'm also going to be installing in the ceiling. So I'm just going to be installing these right here, and then I'm also going to have the electrical boxes velcroed on right here. So once we hang this thing up and I have to move things around or whatnot, this won't be moving around, it'll just be nice and stationary. Alright, so let's get everything installed. Today's the day to do the final big project for the studio. So my dad is on his way and we're gonna get lights installed. So behind me we have this layout for lights and we're gonna be installing all of those. We're gonna have them on a few switches so I can control different lights in different portions of the room. It's gonna be a fun big project, but I'm really excited because that means after this, the studio is going to be done. It's gonna be all ready to go because we're also gonna be installing the ceiling cloud over here by the desk. And so everything will be fully operational, ready to go. The diffuser is up, it's looking great. We haven't really hit any snags so far along the way, so fingers crossed that it all goes well today. Let's get it done! Some of the holes were easy to cut out, while others were more of a struggle because of the mud that was in between the sheets of drywall. Now we are laying out the electrical lines for the lights. Now we are figuring out the exact spot and where the ceiling cloud is going to go. I had to reinforce the cloud with 2x4s in the attic since it was not in line with the ceiling joists. I also wanted to install this cloud better than the old studio. Instead of using ceiling panel wire, we used chain links. We also installed an outlet in the ceiling. That way the cloud could be easily taken down for any reason by one or more people, and the electrical wire wouldn't have to be cut. Here we are connecting all the wires for the light switch. I wanted to have multiple switches to control different sets of lights throughout the room. Alright, so the light project in the studio is all done. This came out amazing. Just wow. I'm so happy with this. Thank you so much to my dad for helping me with this project because this made this studio just look complete. It looks amazing. I'm just still in awe when I walk in here. I've been working on a couple projects in this room for the last week or so just to get used to the room a little bit, just to catch up on a couple things. And yeah, it sounds amazing in here. It sounds huge in this room. I am so happy about this. So the studio is basically done. We are right at the finish line. The last couple things I want to do is just to clean things up a little bit, organize a couple things, set up some instruments, and yeah, let's complete this studio. Welcome to the brand new Captive Portal Studio. Oh man, it feels so good to be in this finished room. I'm just in awe with how this came out. I feel like I have deja vu a little bit just because it was only like a year and a half ago where I was sitting in a spot just like this at the old studio filming the outro, just saying how excited I was for what was going to happen in the studio and the future of my music journey. And I'm doing it all again in a brand new house and in a brand new home studio. And honestly, I don't regret it one bit. The final result of this room is by far so much better than the old space. I'm very excited to work in here. I'm really excited to work on projects and see where this place goes. I can't wait to bring people's creations to life in this room. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. I'm going to start to be filming some YouTube videos here pretty soon, and also going to record lots of pieces of content for all the various social media platforms, so be sure to follow me in any of those places, and I can't wait for you to come on this journey with me. This is Zach of Captive Portal, and I'll see you guys next time.